I've mastered the tea thing. The only place I wanted to come and talk to you about was here because I really feel like everybody in the culture pays attention to y'all. But I knew I could talk my
Talk to me. This is the Rumor Report on The Breakfast Club.
What you wanna know?
Well, listen, I said that the Dipset rapper Cameron was launching his own advice talk show and leaving hip-hop. I sort of lied, but he did say he's launching a talk show, and he's calling out Dr. Phil. This is what he said.
It's called Come and Talk to Me, where I give advice. I'm taking Dr. Phil and them out of here. Dr. Phil, y'all days is numbered. I'm taking everybody out of here. Dr. Phil, you might as well wrap your up, because I'm doing everybody black or brown, or for my, not even black or brown, every race. I'm going to tell them the real advice they need to hear and stop trying to act like, well, we got my friend in the crowd. He's a specialist. Hey, what do you think? Nah, stop cheating on the You talking about your girl crazy and all this crazy but you come home at 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning every morning. Right, Wig? That's the responses I like to hear.
Well, Cameron is a highly entertaining human, so if he wants to do a talk show, he can do a talk show. And that show that he got with him and Mace is funny as hell.
Well, who would you love to see on that?
But Dr. Phil's show is over, right? Dr. Phil's show is canceled.
Well, that was the other part. Dr. Phil already announced that his show is going off the air after over 20 years.
Correct.
I don't know who I would like to see on that, but I do remember, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I got my timelines mixed up, but I remember Cam saying he was going to do a show that ended up being what we now know as To Catch a Predator. I remember him saying that years ago. This was when like all hip-hop was the booming site, and it was on the LC, the Rumor Report.
But he
like
didn't want to snitch on him. He wanted to beat him up, though, right?
I don't remember what it was. I remember him saying he was going to do a show where he was going to be setting up pedophiles. Yeah, I remember. And then voila, To Catch a Predator came out. This was like 20 years ago. Not even joking.
I'd love to tune in if he had Karen Civil on there.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, because you're giving it Joe Budden.
All of them together?
You got to stop, Jason.
No, like one. No, that's too much for one episode.
Jesus.
He could have Jodeci sing the intro music. Come and talk to me. Anyway, on the Jason Lee show tonight, I got NLE Choppa. He came on to talk about a lot of things, and one thing I had to ask him was his beef that everybody on the internet was talking about with him and NBA YoungBoy, and I was really amazed at the conversation and what he shared, but this is what he said. When I think about you and I think about another rapper who's really successful, who has an I like how he can kind of see where I'm going, who has a really huge following. And I'm like, this guy, everything about him is positive. Has he ever had any beef with anybody at all? And then, of course, I found the stuff with NBA YoungBoy. Y'all had your time. That was at a time when you were NLE Choppa with no love at all for anybody, for myself. Are you in a different place now with where that relationship ended?
There's no beef. It was never any beef. It was more so like misunderstanding or anything like that, but it was never no beef. See, beef to me, where we come from, is like somebody died and like you trying to get back for that person that passed away. But it was never any beef with me and bro.
I don't really get a lot of young male rappers on my show talking about the issues that they have with other rappers, but I always see like academics or Vlad talking to them about the beef that they have, and it gets really real in the streets. I've had a lot of friends die from violence, so it was interesting hearing his perspective. So as he kept talking, he really went into a place that I had never heard a rapper in this generation speak about beef with other rappers, and that's what he said. But when he said in the song that your mother will be devastated when YoungBoy sends your stupid ass to God, that's beef. I mean, it's internet music beef, whatever. It's not like somebody's chasing you down in the street, but that's kind of, I mean, especially with your fans being as rabid as they are, his fans being the way that they are, that gets people gaslit to where now the fans turn it into something,
Some people have to release certain tension, certain anger on a beat or musically so that it's not bottled in to where when you see a person, you want to release it physically. He murked me on a beat. He killed me on a beat, but physically, I'm here.
I actually heard an OG rapper say something like that. They said that if social media was around back in the 1900s, it would have been a lot less beef in the street because people would have been saying things on social media and getting it out, right? So a lot of things probably would have got squashed before it got to the actual street level. Because back then, all you could do was run into a person, right? You know what I mean? So I have heard stuff like that before.
But hearing that from a 20-year-old who's in the game now, all these rappers getting killed, I actually admired him saying that.
Nah, NLE Choppa's a very smart dude. Yeah. Him and his mom, they run close. I think she was probably, I'm sure.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah, she manages him, so they run pretty close. He's really bright individual, man.
I just can't wait till his rhetoric that he displays in interviews matches the content of his music. That's what I can't wait for.
Well, he has a new project out. I think out today. He has an event here in New York. I'm gonna go check it out. And that episode airs on the Jason Lee Show on Revolt tonight.
And that record, his new record, I don't believe he goes there.
Okay.
It's more of a dance record. You probably heard of it. You don't dance with me. Love don't live here.
I don't know if I got to hear the album. Remember we had this conversation last time he was here.
Go crazy.
Last time he was here, he sounded just like that, very positive, but then the music didn't match that. Right. You know what I mean? So I just hope that it, maybe on this project it will.
Speaking of social media gaslighting, everybody's reacting to the conversation we just had about Tamar Braxton and Candy and Todd and whether or not Todd's going to get a peach. And I don't know. They're saying that Tamar was the bully, but then when we were looking at that photo, people were saying that's not a receipt of Tamar's man checking Todd.
Yeah.
We said he looked a little bigger than Todd.
I said earlier, because you asked me a question, you said who would win in a fight between Todd and Tamar Braxton's fiance. I think his name is JR. JR.
Yep.
And I said Todd.
Right.
But upon further review, okay, I was told JR is an ex-Marine, and I can tell that there's a clear size advantage. And JR looks Irish. Okay?
He does look Irish.
I might root for Todd, publicly. But that backdoor bet, I might have to put it on JR.
Nah. You can't take it back. Earlier, you was like, Todd is black. I'm going with the black man.
I didn't have all the stats of the fighters. You didn't give me that, I'm looking at the stats of the fighters now. I'm looking at the height and the weight and the arm reach and
all right.
the background.
So you going with
ex-Marine? You gonna have hell with an ex-Marine, bro. Especially an ex-Marine that's Irish. I'm telling you that right now.
So you going with JR?
Backdoor bet. That's what I'll do under the table.
Okay.
Publicly go Todd. You know what I mean? But pay up.
Put your money on.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But I don't want to see any of that happen. I don't want to see them turn to violence.
I do.
You don't. Stop it, Jason. It was just a hypothetical.
No, I don't. Yo.
All right. Well. All right. Well, thank you for that rumor report.
Bipolarness? I do. No, I don't. No, I don't.
I'm working on me.
All right. Well, People's Choice Mix is up next. Let us know what you want to hear. 800-585-1051. We'll get your request on No Move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.